Greetings, all dear venerables and most venerable and Dhamma friends. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Ratanataya. Excuse us, we were. Thank you from near and from far. And I want to say happy Sanghamitta Day to everyone. Here in North America, in California, we have 2 nights of full moon, last night and tonight, with the moon shining bright here, even now, while in Asia, then it's already morning time in India and Vietnam, in Thailand and Indonesia. And Sanghamitta Villa Devi, and I'm so many countries of their legacy, their heritage are alive. So I want to extend my special warm welcome and greetings to Venerable P. Seewalee, Nāyaka Mahāthero, and also to my peers, our cohort of the United Theravada Bikunisanka International Initiative, who are here with us today, especially Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Mahātherī from Indonesia, and also Venerable Bhikkhuni Viditadhammā Mahātherī from Vietnam, and Sunyata Bhikkhuni Arama in Vietnam. And then also, I hope we have here with us Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammanandā Therī from Songdhamma Kalayani in Thailand, and Venerable Bodhicittā Therī from Sri Lanka and Australia, in Melbourne, Australia. So it's really a great honor for us to be able to host all of these Nāyaka Mahāthero and Mahātheris and Therīs together this evening for our 3rd of 3 Sanghamitta Day programs that Dhammadharini has hosted today. And can you let me know, is the sound coming through okay? Is the picture all right? Is everything okay? Yes. I'm so glad to see also we have our first.
From the beginning, the sound is not good, but now it is better and the image is very clear. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I'm delighted to see that we also have Bhikkhunis here with us, not only from around the United States, but also other places around the world, including our first New Zealand Bhikkhuni, Venerable Adimuti, is with us. I'm so happy to see her. And also Venerable Analaya Bhikkhuni coming to us maybe from Australia. It's Santi Forest, the Southern Highlands of Australia, and Venerable Anuvidita Bhikkhuni from the Bavarian Alps of Germany. And I think there are more of you here as well, but how to see you, I'm not sure. Venerable Ayadhammadīpa also coming to us perhaps from Virginia. So warm welcome to all, as well as our friends from Dhammadharini, who I see here together. And from India. Bhante, from India, are you coming to us from Kolkata or from Bodhg or?
Yes, Bhikkhuni. I'm from Calcutta now.
Sadhu Bhante.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Namo Ratanataya. So now we would like to invite words of welcome from our Dhammadharini Support Foundation Director, Bob Flax, on behalf of our friends of Dhammadharini and the directors of Dhammadharini Support Foundation.
Support Foundation, which supports the work of the Dhammadharini Bikunisanka, both in the United States and internationally. On behalf of our president, Susie Clicks, the directors of the foundation, and the Dhammadharini leadership, I would like to offer my warm welcome to our most distinguished guests to this Sanghamitta Day event. Bhikkhuni Therīs and the Vanguard, introducing the newly inaugurated United Theravada Bikunisanka International Initiative, hosted by our Dhammadharini founder, Venerable Bhikkhunī Tathālokā Mahātherī. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you enjoy and benefit from the program. And happy Sanghamitta Day. Bye-bye now.
We can't hear you, Aya. Please turn on your mic. We can't hear you.
I'm getting a message the sound is not coming, so I wanted to say thank you very much to Bob and to all the members of our Dhammadharini Support Foundation, friends of Dhammadharini from near and far, including everyone who has been with us here, who's made it possible for us to offer this, and also all of those who are here now. You can't see them, you've only seen a few of the monastics, but I'm looking over the bay of the friends who are here together. And now is the time for introductions. And members of our monastic community here have prepared to give introduction to our most honored speakers who are joining us this evening. And so we're going to be inviting them then to give introductions. And Bhante, Venerable P. Seewalee Mahāthero, Nāyaka Mahāthero, with your permission, with your blessings, I'll introduce you first. So for every introduction, do you have everything in place? Everything ready? Okay, so I have the honor of introducing to you Venerable P. Seewalee Mahāthero, the Secretary of the Mahabodhi Society of India. So we're honored to welcome Most Venerable P. Seewalee Mahāthero and have the Venerable Nāyaka Thero with us for this program. Venerable P. Seewalee Thero is a senior monk from Sri Lanka and is the General Secretary of the Mahabodhi Society of India and Chief Sangha Nāyaka of India. Old friends of Dhammadharini may remember Venerable P. Seewalee Thero's support and the hosting of the Mahabodhi Society of India's Bodhg branch for the Buddha vision beginning more than 10 years ago in 2008, in which our Dhammadharini founding abbess, me, served as one of the leading teachers, together with Bhante Sujato Aya Santinī, who's here with us tonight, and Aya Gunasari. This was the first such training offered for Indian bhikkhunis and seminaries after their bhikkhuni ordinations in Bodhg in 1998. Those attending the recent November full moon commemoration of the 25th anniversary of the revival of Theravada Bhikkhuni ordination initiated by the Mahabodhi Society of India may have also noted the Mahabodhi Society's leading role, not only in the revival of Buddhism in India and the preservation and renewal of ancient sites of the Buddha in India, but also Mahabodhi Society of India's key organizational role in supporting the 1996 Theravada Bhikkhuni ordination, in which our Nāyaka Therī, Venerable Bhikkhuni Kusuma, and our Venerable Bhikkhuni Sudarshana Therī were ordained with a total of 10 bhikkhunis from Sri Lanka. The Mahabodhi Society supported and offered their bhikkhuni training in the Theravada tradition in the years following their full bhikkhuni ordination. Much credit and recognition to them for this enormous enormous service to all of Buddhism and to our world. In 2018, with Venerable P. Seewalee Thero's leadership, the Mahabodhi Society of Bodhg hosted the Global Conference on Buddhism and Women's Liberation, with Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi as keynote speaker. Venerable P. Seewalee Thero, with the agreement of the assembled Bikunisanka and international Bikuni preceptors, Venerable Viditadhammā Therī from Sri Lanka, Venerable Viditadhammā Therī from Vietnam, who's with us now, and Venerable Dhammanandā Therī from Thailand, led up the preceptor for the international Bhikkhuni ordination in Bodhg. After the ordination and during the global conference, a World Theravada Bhikkhuni Council was proposed and discussed with international Bhikkhu and Bikunisanka leaders.
We can't hear you.
Resurrection of the Theravada Bikunisanka. And on the December 18th full moon, celebrating Sanghamitta Day at all the Mahabodhi Society's branches in India. And with the international webinar co-organized with both the Anagarika Dhammapala Institute of Pali and Buddhist Studies and the United Theravada Bikunisanka International. Important Kalyanamitta, the United Theravada Bikunisanka International Initiative. It's an honor and special blessing on behalf of all of us with Dhammadharini, the most venerable P. Seewalee Mahāthero. Bhante, we would like to now invite you to say a few words, to share a few words with us.
Yes, Bhikkhuni. Thank you very much for your very kind introduction of MBSI.
Bhante, we're not able
to all venerable.
Just a moment, please.
Yes. Yes, there is, I think, some technical problem with the sounds. Can you now?
Oh,
Can you
it's
hear
working well
Bhikkhuni?
now. Yes, thank you very much. We're okay now. Go ahead.
Yes. Namo Buddhaya Bhikkhuni Sangha, and to all participants of this very important day, and also wishing you all very great Sanghamitta Day celebration. And in fact, Bhikkhunī Tathālokā Mahātherī and all our Mahātheris and other Bhikkhunis, Samaneris, I'm happy to see you all this very great day that we are celebrating to pay our homage and gratitude to the first international Dhammadutta Bhikkhuni Mahātherī Sanghamitta. So this is what Buddha says, Katanyu Katavedi Puggalo Dullabho Lokasmi. Buddha says that it's very rare to find that those one who pays gratitude, gratefulness. So it's a rare quality that now it's very inspiring throughout the world, this Sanghamitta Day being celebrated. And throughout the world, Mahaprajapati Gautami is celebrated. And is getting more and more understanding about the Bhikkhuni Sangha worldwide. It's a matter of satisfaction. Indeed. So I also pay my homage and respect to the Mahātheri, Sanghamitta, and all other Mahatheris in the past who struggled to bring this Bhikkhuni Mahasangha to the alive till today. After so many struggles in the past, they have gone so much of difficulties in the past. They paid so much of difficulties. It was a continuously struggling when we think about, just reflect about 2,300 years back or even Buddha's time. We can see that the Bhikkhuni Sangha were continuously in great struggle, continuous struggle until now. I think in the future also Bhikkhuni Sangha have to struggle to get more and more support, recognition, and respect from the Buddhist community, Mahasangha, Bhikkhu Sangha, and others. So I'm happy to see today Dhammadharini, the foundation, the founder, Venerable Tathālokā Mahātherī, and her assistant monks, nuns, are working hard to bring this celebration today. And Mahātherī Tathālokā, I think, working very hard for last many years, not only today. So I am personally and on behalf of Mahabodhi Society, I appreciate your great work that on behalf of Bhikkhuni Mahasangha, you are doing really wonderful work and you deserve our respect and appreciation. I wish you good health and long life to continue and support to the Bhikkhuni Sangha. And also to other venerable Bhikkhunis from worldwide, our Bhikkhuni coordinators of UTBSI, United Theravada, Bhikkhuni Sangha International, their valuable time, their sharings, their wise thinking to move this Bhikkhuni Sangha is very important. And as we have discussed about Bhikkhuni Sangha for last several months, Bhikkhuni Theravada, United Bhikkhuni Theravada International is enlightening social movement. I'm thinking like that. It should be not just a social organization, a movement, but it is enlightening the humanity. It should. There are so many that kind of organizations for struggling for different aspects, different aims and goals. But I would suggest that Bhikkhuni Theravada International must be enlightening social movement worldwide. So we have support from the Dhamma, even we do not getting much support from the Bhikkhu Mahasangha, but I hope always blessings of Dhamma is there when we practice according to the authentic teachings of the Buddha, then the blessings will be always there. So here I would like to mention about Bhikkhuni Sangha in India also need support from the international Bhikkhuni community. There are several Bhikkhuni monasteries in India, but not intact, not properly being trained or being guided. So Mahabodhi Society of India would like to support Bhikkhuni Sangha to establish the proper Bhikkhuni Sangha in India. There are so many women in India wishing to become nuns and get training for so many reasons. You know, India is a big country and with big problems. So many women are facing a lot of troubles in India. So when they want to become nuns, but there is no proper place, proper guidance, proper teachers, proper monasteries, security, safe, so many issues are there. So I would like to mention here, it's also honor to Bhikkhuni Mahātherī Sanghamitta if you support to re-establish Bhikkhuni Sangha in India, because Mahātherī Sanghamitta from India, and she took all the troubles all the way to travel from India. It was a very, very fearless journey. Being a young nun, I think she was not more than 20 or 21 years old when Mahātherī Sanghamitta traveled to Sri Lanka. So it cannot imagine, 2,300 years back, almost, how she could travel, took all the risks to travel and establish Bhikkhuni Sangha in Sri Lanka. So that was the turning point of this Buddhist civilization worldwide, with Sanghamitta Mahātheri's initiation to establish Bhikkhuni Sangha. So that is why the Bhikkhuni Sangha worldwide may pay your attention to this, how we can jointly work together for the common cause, for revival of Bhikkhuni Sangha. Is a great service to the humanity. I think without the country or the society cannot survive, cannot progress, cannot prosper without support and protection of the women in the society in particular. So it is very important to support what we can do. We can do only through the Bhikkhuni Sangha to the world, the authentic teachings of the Buddha. So I wish that our Bhikkhuni coordinators and those who are around the world, Bhikkhuni Sangha, now they are getting support. I think recognition is coming from the Mahasangha, Bhikkhu Sangha also. So it's a matter of satisfaction at this moment. So I think Bhikkhuni Sangha in the right path. You have great responsibility, because now there is only very few senior Bhikkhunis with us, very, very few senior Bhikkhunis. So they have great responsibilities and they need help to lead this Bhikkhuni Sangha. So that is why the proper communication, coordination, and respect each other, listening to each other. So work together, because Sukha Sanghassa Samaggi is the Buddha's words. So being united is always happy to the societies, bring happiness and peace and harmony to the society at large. So with these few words, I express my humble gratitude and thanks to Bhikkhunī Tathālokā and all the Bhikkhuni coordinators and Bhikkhuni Sangha from around the world, and Upasaka and Upasika. May you be always peaceful and in good health and happiness and attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Thank you very much.
Sad, 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 Anumodama. Thank you very much, Bhante. Anumodana. Very much appreciate your good words for all of us. And not only good thoughts and good words, but also the good efforts behind that for the last many years, and also especially this year. Meanwhile, many people were suffering with pandemic, but really for our Venerable Peace Seewalee Mahāthero and for our Bhikkhuni coordinators of the United Theravada Bikunisanka International, during this time we've really been exerting ourselves for the welfare of our Sangha and the welfare of our world, not staying idle and becoming depressed, but really as the Buddha's words to Mahapajapati Therī, his foster mother, when he was first returning to Kapilavastu, his hometown, they just rise to my mind right now. And Mahapajapati Gautami Therī attained stream entry listening to these words. The words are Uttitena pamacheya dhammang sucharitang chare dhammachari sukhang seti asming loke paramhicha. Rise up, do not be heedless in the Dhamma faring. Fare ye well. Happy are those who fare in Dhamma in this world and beyond. Dhammachari sucharitang natang ducharitang chare. Dhammachari sukhang seti asming loke paramhicha. Well-faring are those who fare in Dhamma, ill-faring those who fare not well. Happy are those who fare in Dhamma in this world and beyond. So I just want to really appreciate sadhu, 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 all those who, with all of the various sufferings of our world over the millennia and in this time now, really rise to the occasion with Dhamma and make good with what we've got, with these human bodies, minds, and hearts, and with the Dhamma together, really for our own, Amhakang Digaratang Hitaya Sukhaya, for our own and others' long-term benefit and happiness. So thank you very much, sadhu, 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 Bhante. Much appreciation for your sharing of excellent thoughts, words, and deeds with all of us. And now I would like to invite Ajahn Brahmawara, who's here with us, Venerable Bhikkhuni Brahmawara. She will be introducing our next speaker, our next coordinator with United Theravada Bikunisanka International. And our next speaker, I see her here. Very glad to see her in any country, anytime. I'm glad to see her around the world. Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Mahātherī will be our next speaker. And Ajahn, well, no, we can go ahead with what I just said. Oh, Ayya Brahmawara. I'm sorry, Ayya Brahmawara is introducing me. Thank you very much. Ayya Brahmawara, welcome to give the next introduction, and I'll believe it when I hear who you're introducing, then we'll be ready for you. So please go ahead, Ajahn Brahmawara.
Thank you so much, Ayya Tathālokā. I feel very honored to have the opportunity to introduce our beloved teacher, Ayya Tathālokā. Venerable Ayya Tathālokā Mahātherī is an American-born member of the Buddhist monastic Sangha. She entered monastic life in 1988 and received Bhikkhuni Upasampada, full ordination, with the Sri Lankan Sangha in California in 1997, with the late Venerable Havanpola Ratanasara Mahāthero as preceptor. She may be the first non-Sri Lankan to receive full Bhikkhuni ordination via the Theravada Pali text tradition. In 2004, Venerable Tathālokā co-founded the North American Bhikkhuni Association, now the Theravada Bhikkhuni Association of North America, TBANA. And in 2005, Venerable Tathālokā co-founded Dhammadharini Support Foundation, together with the first monastic community for Theravada Bhikkhunis in the Western United States. In 2006, she served as founding senior monastic advisor for the Alliance for Bhikkhunis. And she was awarded that year also an Outstanding Woman in Buddhism Award at the United Nations in Bangkok. Inspired by Buddhist forest traditions, in 2008, Venerable Tathālokā co-founded Aranya Bodhi Hermitage and later Dhammadharini Monastery. In 2009, she became the first non-Sri Lankan bhikkhuni to be appointed a bhikkhuni preceptor, and she has since served for more than 60 ordinations, including the first all Theravada bhikkhuni ordinations in both Australia and North America. Venerable Tathālokā first received instruction in mindfulness and insight practices at the age of 10. She further studied and trained with Indian, Korean, Thai, Sri Lankan, and Burmese meditation teachers, including in the Thai forest traditions of the Most Venerable Ajahn Bodhicittā and the Burmese Vipassana meditation masters Sayadaw U Pandita and Power Ork Sayadaw. Her practice and teaching are profoundly influenced by the Buddha's teachings as contained in the canonical early Buddhist suttas, together with the teachings and practices of forest and insight meditation traditions. In January of 2018, Venerable Tathālokā Therī joined for the International Bhikkhuni ordination in Bodh. After the ordinations, during the Global Conference on Buddhism and Women's Liberation, hosted by the Mahabodhi Society of India in Bodh, a World Theravada Bhikkhuni Council was proposed. And in 2021, Ayya Tathālokā has served as the USA coordinator of the United Theravada Bikunisanka International Initiative, which was inaugurated this past November on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of the revival of the Theravada Bikunisanka.
Thank you very much to Ajahn Brahmawada, who I have so much appreciation for, and now even more for very clearly mentioning these things of life. They're kind of hard to imagine when one hears them, even when living through them. So I'd just like to speak briefly myself because I'm serving as the host as well as a participant, as one of the coordinators of the United Theravada Bikunisanka International. And so I think, as you'll be hearing a lot from me, to speak briefly at this time. So I'd just like to say how wonderful I feel that it is now in this time. I remember 30 years ago and there being just like Ayakema and just a very few bhikkhunis who were so brave as to undertake full ordination before ordinations really, full ordination started in the Theravada tradition again in 1988. And yet it was so inspiring and encouraging, their teaching and their faith, their trailblazing, and their going ahead. And I know as a young teenager, for me, that was just, really important, and to rise up in a way, and then for myself to go to Europe and also to India. When I went to India, then as an anagarika in the white robes, and I went to Calcutta or Kolkata, where Bhante Seewalee is now. At that time, we couldn't find any bhikkhunis there in the Theravada tradition, nor elsewhere around India, nor elsewhere around Southeast Asia. And so during the time that I was in India, although there were Theravada bhikkhus being supported also by Sri Lankan and Burmese traditions, particularly for the revival of the Bikunisanka in India. To see female monastics, I had to look to other religions other than Buddhism. What I had read about in the books of the Polytext Society, that so encouraging and so inspiring of these great Bhikkhuni Arahant Therī leaders like Mahapajapati Gautami or Khema Therī, foremost in great wisdom, Upalawana Therī, the Buddha called like his own daughter, foremost in spiritual power, Dhammadharini Therī, foremost in excellence in teaching the Dhamma. And for so many of them that we could see in the old texts, we couldn't find a single Theravada bhikkhuni in India at that time. So what was recommended is to undertake the 10 precepts, as also was being practiced in Sri Lanka, with the 10 precept dasasil renunciate form. And then as some other teachers also recommended, to study the Bhikkhuni Vinaya and practice as much as you can. Of course, there's so much that really, in the absence of a Sangha, you can't practice, because they are, so much of the Bhikkhu Bhikkhuni Vinaya is really about strengthening community and the integrity of the community. And that it's not just precepts for individual liberation, as people sometimes say about the Patimokkha. There are those who say that this is the Vinaya, or precepts for individual liberation. In a way, it's true, because when the Sangha is strong and practicing rightly, it does create, I think as the Buddha intended, the most excellent vessel and support for individual liberation. But the large majority of those precepts are about community and the ethics, the integrity, the well-being, the supportiveness of the community, of the Sangha itself. So I think back then, you know, more than 30 years ago, and I think over time, then some of those bhikkhunis who are with us now, for example, Venerable Viditadhammā Therī, then she, as you'll hear later, I'll just say in brief, but she joined for the very first international Bhikkhuni ordination in Sri Lanka after the ordinations started up there again, the Theravada Bhikkhuni ordinations. And Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Mahātherī, who is with us also tonight, is not so long after, so really one of the groundbreakers. And Venerable Dhammanandā Therī, if she's with us, I hope that she'll be joining us. Then also to be they're in the first groups of the women to ordain in each of their respective countries, in Indonesia, in Vietnam, in Thailand, and you know, so it's been kind of like, in a way, like the night sky was just dark, and as we see in the evening, then one star and another star.
IAT, you're frozen.
Ayasobana, this is Ananea. IAT is frozen. Nothing's happening. What the heck is going on? I'll send an email.
Going on.
Okay. Let me know. Do we have sound again also? Okay. Do you like to turn it a little bit this way? Okay.
Welcome back.
Greetings again. Can you give a signal if we're back, if we're good again? Okay, all right. So we have a new configuration here. Thanks to the ready work of those who are here on tech support. Thank you very much. And maybe I won't say so much more. I'm not sure exactly when things dropped off, but I'll just say that really how glad I am to now be able to pronounce the words Therī and Mahātherī, not only about a legacy from the past, but also about living bhikkhunis who we have here now with us in the present. And not only far away in some other country, but even here in North America and in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, and now a growing number, as some of you may have seen this morning, a growing number of bhikkhunis and Bhikkhuni community really coming up in Europe, as in our morning program. So we have now Mahātheris in so many of these continents around the world. And we have with us tonight some of those who really have been, I'd say so compassionately and dedicatedly active in teaching and in founding monastic communities and welcoming aspirants, aspirant women from around the globe, really going out of their way to be a support for those who aspire to entering the monastic life, for their training, their full ordination, also supporting them to become knowledgeable and deeply skilled practitioners and teachers as well. So this past year, even during pandemic time, I was delighted to see someone asked me how many Theravada Bhikkhunis are there in the world today, and we started counting, and then it was announced that there were more than 3,000 even of the Dambula community in Sri Lanka alone, and more than 5,000 Bhikkhunis this year in Sri Lanka, and more than 500 in other countries around the world. So we counted at one point 5,500, and then there was another ordination, actually the first one at the Empty Cloud Monastery in New Jersey. Then 5 more Bhikkhunis were ordained, and suddenly we had 5, 5, 5, 5. Which in Thai is ha 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 ha, but it's not to make fun. It's not a joke. Really something to smile, something to rejoice about. So my deep appreciation, and now with the United Theravada Bikunisanka International, we see the beginnings of our Bhikkhunis from east and west, north and south around the world, not only working together with just their community or a few groups of peers, but really taking initiative to come together in the, say, like the Buddha's spirit that was mentioned by Venerable P. Seewalee Mahāthero earlier on, about Sukha Sanghasa Samagi. That is about the harmony, Samagi, the harmony of the Sangha. Happy is the harmony of the Sangha. So this is the spirit that we're drawing together with in a united way, and mindful of the Buddha's own emphasis, wise and right emphasis on the importance of Sangha, the strength, really the power of the Sangha, and what that can do not only for our individual liberation, but really Bahujana Hitaya, Bahujana Sukhaya, for the welfare and happiness of the many. So with this motivation, with this intention, with dedication to the Buddha's own vision and great wisdom, and living in that wise way of practice for our own welfare and that of humanity, I've joined with this initiative together. So now with these few words, then I think we're going to have now, I had mentioned it before, but now we'll really have the introduction of Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Mahātherī, also known as Ayya Santinī, who will be introduced by Venerable Bhikkhuni Bodhicittā, the Vice Abbess and co-teacher of our Dhammadharini Bikunisanka. Welcome, Ayya Sopana, to give introduction to Ayya Santinī Therī.
Well, it's my honor and pleasure to be able to introduce Venerable Santinī, who I've met only a few times, but admired almost my entire life as a bhikkhuni. I've been aware of Bhikkhuni Santinī and her strength. Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Mahātherī, who is more well known as Ayya Santinī, is the leader and spearhead of the Indonesian Theravada Bikunisanka. Ever since she was little, around 7 years old, she had already felt the call of the heart to live her life as a samana. In 1990, she was ordained in Brahmavihara Arama, Bali, by the late Girirakkhito Mahāthero as Mechi Santinī. With this spirit, she went through every obstacle until she was ordained as a bhikkhuni in Theravada 10 years later, in the year 2000, and eventually formed Sangha Bhikkhuni Theravada Indonesia. Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Therī not only built and developed trainings in Vishma Kusalayani, Vihara, and Chaitya, which she has fostered, but she has also traveled to a lot of places in Indonesia and other countries to support the development of Dhamma. So not only is she well known in Indonesia, but she also received recognition and awards abroad as a speaker in international forums. She was awarded a United Nations International Women's Day Outstanding Women in Buddhism Award in 2007, a world-class appreciation. With Vasa period that can be accounted as senior and deserving to be a preceptor, then she is also quite instrumental in the revival of Theravada Bhikkhuni of the world. Recommended by both Ayya Tathālokā and Ajahn Brahm. In 2014, she was appointed as a Bhikkhuni preceptor, and in both April 2014 and January 2016, she served as Pavatini Upajjhaya in Perth, Australia. She is almost always invited to every ordination of Theravada Bhikkhuni in Asia and Australia. On the 21st of June 2015, an historical event was initiated in Indonesia. Upasampada Bhikkhuni Theravada Indonesia, for the first time, was held in spectacular fashion after more than 1,000 years away. Right then was formed Sangha Bhikkhuni Theravada Indonesia. The event also lifted up Indonesia's name in Theravada Buddhism, for the ordained came from different countries, while the Upasampada Bhikkhuni Theravada is still a rare thing in Asian countries. In this rare historical event, Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Therī first served as Bhikkhuni preceptor, Pavatini Upajjhaya, in her home country. In 2015, she traveled to Thailand to serve as one of the teachers for the first public Theravada Bhikkhuni ordination in Thailand on Koyo Island, Songkhla. In January of 2018, Venerable Santinī Therī, joined for the International Bhikkhuni Ordination in Bodh. After the ordinations, during the Global Conference on Buddhism and Women's Liberation, hosted by the Mahabodhi Society of India in Bodh, a World Theravada Bhikkhuni Council was proposed. And in 2021, Ayya Santinī has served as the Indonesia co-coordinator of the United Theravada Bikuni Sangha initiative, inaugurated this past November on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of the revival of the Theravada Bikunisanka. So welcome, Ayya Santinī.
Ayya Santinī, we would now like to invite you. Warm welcome. Very glad to have you join us.
Most venerables, my dear sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, today we are all here to celebrate Sanghamitta Day, and thanks to Most Venerable Bhikkhunī Tathālokā who invite me to give speech. A very wonderful event, as we can use this Sanghamitta Day to call back into our mind what happened more than 1,000 years ago, and to make us realize the history behind what Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī did in connection with us as Bhikkhunis. Let us feel blessed and lucky to have Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī as our model. Thanks to her courageous effort, we gather here together as Bhikkhunis. Well, the Buddha has stated, something happens because of causes. So true. We can say that what the present moments happen because of one wonderful action done by Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī as the daughter of King Asoka. Centuries ago, she was willing to leave India, her native country, and headed to Sri Lanka by sea. Yes, my dear Dhamma sisters and brother, when it was time fixed to work, nothing could stop it. The wheel of Dhamma started rolling to give birth to the life of Bikunisanka. Just like now in our era, it is now our time to revive Bikunisanka as the fourth pillar of Buddha's teaching. We know that Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī then gave Upasampada to women who wanted to become Bhikkhunis outside India. First, Bikunisanka emerged in Sri Lanka, and then other countries followed suit. With time, we know anicca. The existence of Theravada Bikunisanka was no more. Yet Mahayana Bikunisanka developed very well. Mahayana Bikunisanka had and always has big contributions to Buddhist and non-Buddhist communities. Also with time, we know anicca. Now, quite a few learned senior Theravada bhikkhus started to think that Theravada Bikunisanka needed to be revived. They started to examine the sources in Vinaya and Sutta to be used as references. They started to look for reasons to revive Theravada Bikunisanka. What could make a Theravada Bhikkhuni Upasampada is possible. When it is time fixed to work again, there will always be ways to make things happen. Those learned senior Theravada bhikkhus found that it is possible for Theravada bhikkhus to give Upasampada to women anytime, as long as there are monks who are willing to give upasampada. One of the references is Chulavaga 10, in which it was written that Tathagata gave permission to bhikkhus to give upasampada to women to become bhikkhunis and to men to become bhikkhus. Yes, it is now time fixed to work to open up a wide door for women to walk on a spiritual path, just as men do. The proof? We do not get support only from learned senior bhikkhus of Theravada tradition, but also from learned senior bhikkhus and bhikkhunis of Mahayana tradition. Isn't it marvelous? This wonderful support has strengthened the determination of women who want to become bhikkhunis. They can get upasampada from dual Sangha, namely Bikusanka and Bikunisanka. If now we see there are bhikkhunis with robes of different colors, so what? As long as the bhikkhunis follow the Bhikkhuni Vinaya, they have the authority to give upasampada to women, including women who want to become Theravada bhikkhunis. There are several ways to give upasampada. Upasampada can be given by Theravada Bhikkhu Sangha only, or by dual Sangha, Bhikkhu Sangha and Bikunisanka. I strongly believe that Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī did not wish for us to only talk about spiritual path. She had undergone great hardship to go to Sri Lanka to give an opportunity to women to walk on Dhamma, to attain the ultimate goal, Nibbana, liberation. The Buddha has taught us that men as well as women can attain Nibbana. The Buddha has given us a wonderful path to attain Nibbana. And what Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī, his disciple, has gone through by being a bhikkhuni, we are lucky to have succeeded in reviving the ordination of Theravada Bikunisanka. But it is only a beginning, like a plant. It is still
So I think we lost Santinī there for a minute. Was everyone able to hear her, or are you able to hear me now? Yes, okay. Were you able to hear Santinī up till the end of her talk? It seems like we dropped off here for a minute.
It dropped from my side too. We couldn't hear the last part of her speech.
Oh, you couldn't hear the last part of her speech? Santinī, are you there? Are you able to start up the last part of your speech? Or, oh, I think actually she dropped off. Maybe what happened. I see. We'll give just a minute to see if she's able to come back on. And if she's able to come back on soon, then we'll ask to hear the last part of her talk, her speech. And if she's messaging now, she says, sorry, Aya, we have problems with our signal. Okay, we'll just ask her to come back when she can. Just a moment. I'm saying, please come back when you can. We'll go ahead. So then now, not knowing when Sangha Bhikkhuni. Okay, wonderful.
Awareness to give upasampada to women anytime, as long as there are monks who are willing to give upasampada. One of the references is Chulawaka 10, in which it was written that Tathagata gave permission to bhikkhus to give upasampada to women to become bhikkhunis and to men to become bhikkhus. Yes, it is now time fixed to work to open up a wide door for women to walk on a spiritual path, just as men do. The proof? We do not get support only from learned senior bhikkhus of Theravada tradition, but also from learned senior bhikkhus and bhikkhunis of Mahayana tradition. Isn't it marvelous? This wonderful support has strengthened the determination of women who want to become bhikkhunis. They can get upasampada from dual Sangha, namely Bikusanka and Bikunisanka. If now we see there are bhikkhunis with robes of different colors, so what? As long as the bhikkhunis follow the Bhikkhuni Vinaya, they have the authority to give upasampada to women, including women who want to become Theravada bhikkhunis. There are several ways to give upasampada. Upasampada can be given by Theravada Bhikkhu Sangha only, or by dual Sangha, Bhikkhu Sangha and Bikunisanka. I strongly believe that Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī did not wish for us to only talk about spiritual path. She had undergone great hardship to go to Sri Lanka to give an opportunity to women to walk on Dhamma, to attain the ultimate goal, Nibbana, liberation. The Buddha has taught us that men as well as women can attain Nibbana. The Buddha has given us a wonderful path to attain Nibbana. And what Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī, his disciple, has gone through by being a bhikkhuni, we are lucky to have succeeded in reviving the ordination of Theravada Bikunisanka. But it is only a beginning, like a plant. It is still very young, still very weak. The plant needs constant care, needs watering, needs protection from so many problems and danger, like unconducive weather, strong rain, insects, poison, animals who damage its plants and eat the plant, etc. Let us be strong. Let us protect our bhikkhunihood. Let us be like Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī, who was not only walking the spiritual path for herself, as she was willing to work hard for the sake of other women, to save women inspired by Dhamma, to live as bhikkhunis by giving them upasampada. Maybe We cannot be like Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī because our conditions are different. But we can learn from Venerable Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Therī, whose spirit we celebrate today. We must at least make ourselves stronger in living Dhamma life as Bhikkhunis, to give inspiration to other women that they have a real arena to develop to the fullest as Mano Ussa, a being with high mind. It is interesting that in Indonesia, the translation for human is manusia, a being with high mind. So, if I as a bhikkhuni am very lucky to have an opportunity to give upasampada to women, I certainly hope that I can have an opportunity to also develop myself to be Mano Ussa and inspire the women who are given upasampada to also strive hard to be Mano Ussa. My dear Dhamma sisters and Dhamma brothers, ladies and gentlemen, the revival of Bikunisanka ordination in Theravada tradition has made it possible for us to take one more step forward. We can coordinate better, as we can communicate better and faster. Now, with the help of modern technology in this digital era, we Bhikkhunis can create an international organization by establishing United Theravada Bikunisanka International. May we Bhikkhunis be better in functioning as the fourth pillar of Buddhism. May we be better in functioning in society to help wherever we possible can, to be the light in the darkness, to show the way to the cessation of suffering. In connection with the establishment, I would like to special thanks Venerable P. Seewalee for his strong support. Thank you for your being with us, Bhante. And I would also like to remind us about something very important. The Buddha has taught us about the truth of dukkha. There is dukkha also in having United Theravada Bikunisanka International. Therefore, let us be mindful with our mental, vocal, and physical actions, with fast communication, with everything made easy. For example, we must be careful with our mind. Let us not lose our kanti parami. Let us be mindful with our physical and vocal actions. Through smartphones and emails, for example, let us be mindful as to not let lobha, dosa, and moha empower our mind. Let us be mindful with the fact that now we have United Theravada Bikunisanka International, which means there is a need for organization structures, which means there can be a stupid competition for power. If we are not careful, our steps will bring us regress, not progress. If we are not careful, our actions will lead us to suffering, not happiness, burden, not relief. Yes, dukkha is everywhere. Once again, let us be mindful. The fact that we are one big family can benefit us because we can get advice from and give advice to our kalyanamitas. More readily too, when we see something is wrong, we must have metta and karuna to make things right. When you see something is wrong with me, please kindly have metta and karuna to let me know. Just like what the Buddha has said, Kalyanamitta is the whole spiritual practice. May all beings be happy with the establishment of United Theravada Bikunisanka International. May the best come to us all, and happy Sanghamitta Day. Thank you.
Sad, sad, sadhu, anumodama. Thank you very much to Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Mahātherī from Indonesia, Vihara Kuslayani. So much appreciate your good words to all of us this evening or this morning, whatever time, whatever day it is. It's good to hear good words like this. Thank you very much. I rejoice in us having such an increasing number of wise senior bhikkhunis to look to and to guide us. I greatly appreciate yours and others' enormous sacrifices and patience, your kanti parami and your metta and karuna, dealing with so much hardship and affliction and doubt and struggles and all of these things. Of course, it's not us alone. Hardships, struggles, doubts, and afflictions are common in our world, and the Dhamma is most excellent for being able to transform them into the path and the fruits of the path. So I'm sad who I...
Thank you, Aye.
Oh, and thank you for, I'm so glad you were able to come back on again. That was worth it to hear at the end of that. It was well worth it. So now we would like to invite Samaneri Dhammawada, who is going to offer the introduction to all of us to our next speaker, Venerable Bhikkhuni Liu-Fap Viditadhammā Therī. Samaneri Dhammawada.
Thank you, Aye, for this opportunity to introduce Venerable Dr. Viditadhammā Mahātherī. Our Dhammadharini Sangha is delighted to once again welcome International Senior Bhikkhuni Teacher and Preceptor, Venerable Dr. Liu-Fap Viditadhammā Mahātherī. You may have seen Venerable Viditadhamma's photo in Dhammadharini's messages on International Theravada Bikunisanga News over the past 10 years, or remember her visit to Dhammadharini during her US teaching tour in 2018. Venerable Viditadhamma is from Vietnam, fully bilingual in English and Vietnamese, and with a high level of Pali knowledge. She entered monastic life in 1991 in Mahayana Buddhism, then transferred over to Theravada Buddhism after 3 years. As Bhikkhuni ordination opportunities opened up for internationals in Sri Lanka, she ordained as Bhikkhuni in the first international Bhikkhuni ordination at Mount Lavinia Tapodanarama in 2002. She has lived in India and obtained her doctorate in Buddhist studies there, as well as co-organizing the first Bhikkhuni ordination in Vesali in modern times in 2012. Friends of Dhammadharini may also have seen her serving as Bhikkhuni Acharini for the first Bhikkhuni ordination in southern Thailand's Songkhla province a few years ago. And she's been active in the founding and development of the Asahin Bhikkhuni Association. She was appointed a Bhikkhuni preceptor in 2016 in Sri Lanka. Venerable Viditadhammā Therī accepted the invitation to serve as a Bhikkhuni preceptor, Pawatini Upajjhaya, in the first Bhikkhuni ordination at Santee Forest Monastery in Australia's Southern Highlands, in which a former longtime resident visitor, Venerable Santichari Bhikkhuni from Australia, was fully ordained. In January 2018, Venerable Liuphap Viditadhammā co-organized another international Bhikkhuni ordination in Bodh, serving as Bhikkhuni Pawatini for her students from Vietnam. After the ordinations, during the Global Conference on Buddhism and Women's Liberation, hosted by the Mahabodhi Society of India in Bodh, a World Theravada Bhikkhuni Council was proposed, and in 2021, she has served as co-coordinator and founding secretary of the United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International Initiative, inaugurated this past November on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of the revival of the Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha. Venerable Viditadhammā.
Warm welcome, Venerable Liuphap Viditadhammā Therī.
Yes, thank you for your introduction.
We can't hear you. Oh, just a moment.
Yes, can
Yes,
you hear
please
me
go
now?
ahead. Yes, now good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Venerable. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. I would like to pay respect to the Bikunisanka, to the Bikunisanka, and to our Dhamma friends who are participating in this webinar. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Dhammadharini Monastery for organizing such a meaningful celebration to commemorate our beloved Arahant Mahātheri Sanghamitta, the first and the most successful Dhammadutta in the Bhikkhuni history. And today I'm so happy to gather together with the Bhikkhunis from many countries, from on the continents. We are sitting here and we are sharing the solidarity, the cooperation, and the love and kindness towards one another, especially recently under the guidance of the Mahabodhi Society of India, especially Venerable Seewalee Mahāthero, the General Secretary. We have established the United Theravada Bikunisanka International. This is a very meaningful and also necessary action to unite and to harmonize and to cooperate among our Bhikkhunis. Even before, we have already united and cooperated in various ways. For example, when I just first came back from India, after 15 years staying there, I established the Sunyata Bhikkhuni Arama here. And at the time, there were only 2 Theravada Bhikkhunis in my country, myself and my Dhamma sister, Bhikkunisaka, who got ordained at the same ordination ceremony with me in 2002. To do the Sima ceremony, we have to invite Venerable Dhammananda and her disciples from Thailand to come to help us to congregate the Sima. And after that, in order to organize the Kathina, we invited Venerable Sattasumana from Sri Lanka, Venerable Dhammananda from Thailand, and until we have more than 5 Bhikkhunis, then we don't need to bother them to come and help us. And I remember Venerable Santinī also invited Venerable Dhammananda and I to go to Indonesia to help her to establish the new Sima in her nunnery in Jakarta, Indonesia. And also we go to Thailand when Venerable Dhammananda is so busy with her work. So I take her place to be the preceptor for the seminary ordination in Koyo, in Venerable Dhammakamala place. And also when I made a tour to the US, Venerable Tathālokā has arranged my tour to visit her temple, and as well as to Aloka Vihara, and she also accompanied me to visit some places. So I feel a spirit of solidarity and like we are like a family. And also I remember in 2012, when I co-organized the International Seminary and Bhikkhuni Ordination in Seewalee, we invited the senior bhikkhus and bhikkhunis to come to Seewalee, and we got the bhikkhus from 7 countries, the bhikkhus from India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Cambodia, and Sri Lanka. So the preceptor was most Venerable U Nyaninda, who just passed away some weeks ago. He was the abbot of the Myanmar temple in Bodh Gaya. At the time when the Venerable Kidmin Mahayana Mahātherī, who was the abbess of Mahapajapati nunnery in Seewalee, suggested me that we should go to him and requested him to be the Upachaya preceptor. I told her no, because he's a Burmese. I think that he will not accept our request. But she said, but if you don't ask, how can you know? Then together we went to see him, and I requested him to become the Upachaya in our ordination. And surprisingly, he accepted. And he said that he will bring 5 bhikkhus to accompany him to do the Sangha Kamma Vacha. And Bhante Satyapan, my teacher, the head of department of Pali of Delhi University, also came, and he stayed for 1 more week to train the bhikkhunis, especially in Hindi and English. And our bhikkhunis were so happy because not only Bhante Satyapala, but also Bhante Salong, Bhante Cholong. I don't know his. I don't remember his Pali name, but he's famous in India with the name is Bhante Cholong. He's the abbot of the Wat Thai Seewalee, our neighbor in Seewalee. He also came to attend the Bhikkhuni ordination, and every week he himself or his assistant would come to our nunnery to teach our bhikkhunis. And at the end of the Vasa, because we organized the ordination at the beginning of the Vasa, and we requested on the bhikkhunis and samaneris who were just ordained has to stay for training for 3 months during the Vasa. So at the end of the Vasa, Bhante invited us to his temple in front of our temple to offer Sanghadana together with his lay devotees. And I remember at the Sanghadana, when he arranged the line for the monks and nuns to go for the Pindapata, he will put first bhikkhus and then bhikkhunis and then Samaneras, and then Samaneris. It is very strange. Because in such countries, like in Southeast Asian country, like in my countries, everywhere if we go, monks will go first, even they are Samaneras. They are very young Samaneras, only 12 years or 13 years. They will be put in the front, and the Bhikkhunis will be later after that. But this Pande, the Thai Pande, he arranged properly in that way. And he himself stood there together with the lay devotees, and he, by his hand, he offered each of us a set of chivara after the vasa. So even though he didn't say expressly that, oh, I advocate or I support the Bikunisanka, but by his actions, we really appreciate his support. He came to teach us. He participated in the ordination, and also he invited us to his temple for the Sangha Dana. So we, and then Pante, you see that Pante from Burma, then from India, then from Thailand, then of course from Sri Lanka. We last but not the least, because our preceptors and Sangha Kamacharya were all the Sri Lankan monks. And recently, Pante Seewalee is guiding us in a very proper way. He always reminds us to work in solidarity, and also not to pay so much attention to title or position or anything else, but we work for the purpose of Dhamma propagation. And with his help, last time in 2019, I brought 15 Samaneris from Vietnam to India to get full ordination. And now in my temple, our Sangha has 50 members, and we have now 13 Bhikkhunis and about 30 Samaneris and Anagarikas. My students, they are learning Dhamma, and also they are improving their English skills, because I encourage them that in the future, if they like, I will send them to go abroad and to stay in the Bhikkhuni community in countries, Thailand, Indonesia, or America, or Australia, so then they can learn new things, and they can also improve their skills, and they can also serve as much as they can, serving and studying at the same time. And I also would like to mention about the training for the Indian Bhikkhunis. My own experience, because from the beginning, Pante Seewalee also mentioned that we should help the Bhikkhuni Sangha in India, because they really need help. In 2012, when I organized the international ordination and training, I also invited the Bhikkhunis from Nagpur to join us. 9 of them came, and they stayed with us for 3 months. And Venerable Upekha helped us in teaching them in their own language. After that, at the end of the Vasa, they told us that the training was very beneficial for them, but it is very difficult for them to leave their temple to go to Vietnamese or other temple for the training, long time training for 1 month or 3 months, because usually in the temples in Nagpur, there is only 1 or only 2 or 3 Bhikkhunis in a temple. And usually the lay people will take turn to invite the Bhikkhunis to go to their houses to have a Sangha every day. So if they leave the temple for a long time, then the lay people will feel secluded. They feel they abandoned. They are abandoned. So they think that if it is good, if it's possible, please organize the training in Nagpur itself. That is why in 2013 I organized 1 month training for the Indian Bhikkhunis in Nagpur. I invited our teacher, Venerable Satyapal Mahathero, to come and teach 1 week, Venerable Dhammananda 1 week, Venerable Punsirivara 1 week, and myself 1 week. And they were so happy. The monk in Diksapumi also later used their premise, their temple, to be to organize the training. But since then, we couldn't do anything else for them. So I think that now with the formation, the establishment of our United Bhikkhuni Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International, we can organize more training classes, either online or at the site in Nagpur itself. I think that winter is a very proper time, because in winter, after the Vasa, they can leave their temple for about 1 month or 2 months. Then we can gather together at one place, and we invite the Mahāthero, Mahātherī, and also on the scholars and also Dhamma friends who are capable, then knowledgeable, and also they can save their time to cooperate in giving training to our Bhikkhunis. And not only the Indian Bhikkhunis, we can also invite Bhikkhunis from other countries to join, like from Thailand, Vietnam, etc. I remember some years ago, Venerable Thammavichani from Thailand invited Venerable Brahmali from Perth, Australia, to come to Thailand and teach Vinaya for 1 week. And she invited us to go there to join her course. So I took my 10 students, 10 nuns, to go to Thailand, and we stayed there for 1 week. And every day we have the classes in the morning and in the afternoon, and we discuss so many things about the Bhikkhuni Vinaya. It was so wonderful time for us. We can exchange, we can learn, we can discuss. So I think that this kind of organizing the course together is easy for us, because we and also if we cannot go there in person, then we can participate online on Zoom to combine that actual class and virtual class together. So now we have in the UTBSI, now we have the subcommittee. We have a subcommittee of monastic education by Venerable Dhammananda, then subcommittee of Dhamma propagation by Venerable Santinī, and then subcommittee of World Bhikkhuni Heritage by Venerable Tathālokā, and also publication and publicity by me. So now I think we would like to invite all the Bhikkhunis to come together to we can offer our knowledge, our compassion, our experience to help to promote the quality of the Bikunisanka in our country, and also in third countries as India, who needs leadership and who needs the support from international Bhikkhuni community. So I hope that with our goodwill, good cooperation, and good practice, And as Venerable Santinī mentioned in her speech, we should be careful, we should be mindful to check our motive, our attitude, and we should keep a pure mind and the pure intention, and also with the Khanti Parami and then Metta Parami, I think that we can serve and practice at the same time. So with this, I would like to conclude my speech here with the hope that there will be more and more bhikkhunis and samaneris, and also bhikkhus and samaneras and upasaka, upasika. The fourfold Sangha, we come together and we work together for the good of many people, for the good of the sasana. And finally, I would pray and I pray that the triple gem will bless you all, and may you be well, happy, and peaceful. Thank you so much.
Sadhu, 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 anumodama. Thank you very much, Venerable Viditadhammā Mahātherī. Very much appreciate hearing from you. And also, Venerable, I was just thinking it would be good to share about the particular areas that are founding coordinators of United Theravada Bikunisanka International, UTBSI, that we've committed to working with, or that we've thought are especially important. And so Venerable Viditadhammā just mentioned those. I'll mention them again. The Monastic Training and Education Initiative, Venerable Dhammanandā Therī has agreed to be leading that up, but it's important to all of us. We've all agreed that this is important. Then Dhamma sharing or propagation, Venerable Santinī Mahātherī, and World Bhikkhuni Heritage Initiative, myself. But this doesn't mean that these are things that we feel are important for all of us. We've also been talking about not only Bhikkhuni Heritage, but Bhikkhuni Hermitage Initiative. Bhikkhuni Hermitage Initiative is for the sake of the deep training and deep practice in the higher mind, Adhicitta and Adhipanya, for the not only the revival of the Bikunisanka, but also for the fruits of the past and for nurturing and bringing forth excellent Bhikkhuni Arahantas in our world again. So then this is one that we want to talk about more. In fact, we want to talk about all of them more. But for the venerables who are here, I just want to check if we have Venerable Dhammanandā Therī or Venerable Bodhicittā Therī here with us. It looked to me like they were not able to come on. And because the time has got a little bit late, then I think it may be good now just to go to our discussion time. So I'd like to invite Venerable P. Seewalee Tero, if he would like to join for this part, most welcome. And also Venerable Viditadhammā Therī, Venerable Santinī Therī, and myself here. Then we'll take a couple of questions that have been asked. One of the questions that's been asked is, and please let me know for those who are here, if you would like to speak to this, if you'd like to reply to this. So what are some of the skills or training that have been helpful or that may be needed to equip Bhikkhuni leaders and younger Bhikkhunis to successfully establish Bhikkhuni communities so that they are a container and support, so that the container and support of the Sangha can be a vehicle for liberation. I think this means not only social liberation, but liberation in the most excellent Buddhist terms. So among our speakers, who would like to speak to this? What are some of the skills training that have been helpful or that may be needed to equip Bhikkhuni leaders and younger monastics to successfully establish Bhikkhuni communities so the container and support of the Sangha can be a vehicle for liberation. Venerable Santinī Therī, would you like to speak to this?
Sorry, I cannot speak in English very well.
No problem. I think you're really good, Aye.
No, please. Thank you. No.
For what you want to share, the meaning comes through loud and clear. The meaning comes through.
Please, Venerable, live up better.
Venerable Viditadhammā Therī, would you like to share your thoughts on this? As a vehicle for liberation, what may be needed to equip the Bhikkhuni leaders and the younger monastics to successfully establish Bhikkhuni communities so that they're a container and support, a vehicle for liberation?
Yes, yes, Venerable. I think that even though now the Bikunisanka is still very new, and we need to work hard for the development, establishment, and the development of the Bikunisanka, but we cannot forget our ultimate purpose, ideal, when we become a monastic. That is, we work for our own liberation and the liberation from defilements, liberation from suffering. So each of us here have our own experience in learning pariyatti and patipatti. So our Dhamma practice is not only in theory, but also in practice. And being a senior Bhikkhuni, we have great responsibility because ourselves must be a bright example for our own students, for our own community, especially the community of lay people. They need to, and especially when we are new, they always observe that what the Bhikkhunis look like, how they practice, how they observe the precepts. Usually people say that, oh, only 10 precepts, we cannot keep properly. How come you would like to observe more than 300 precepts? Can you keep it or not? Or only you would like to have the credit, the title. So Vinaya practice is very, very important. Not only meditation, because meditation is indispensable, of course, for our own practice, but for the Vinaya practice, to keep as much as possible whatever precepts we have received is very, very important. And the senior Bhikkhunis the role of them are very important because we pave the way for our junior. We are the founding members in each country. So for example, I am the first Bhikkhuni in Vietnam in Theravada tradition. Venerable Santinī is the first in Indonesia. So we established our own community. So what we do, for example, we should keep money or not. It is very important because people will say that how can you live without any money? But when I go to Australia and when I go to the US, I see that they can live without money, without their own money, because they have a good way of organizing the monastery. So after that, I came back and I changed the system. And now in our nunnery, we can live without keeping our own money. It's just some years ago. So at first it was very, very difficult, because if we want our nuns not to keep money, we have to ensure their life. For all the 4 requisites must be provided by the Sangha. Otherwise, when they are sick, who will take care of them? Who will take care of their medicine and hospital fees, etc. So in order to encourage our nuns not to keep money, so we have to try a lot. And when there is a will, there is a way. So finally we could do it in a country where keeping money is very popular. It is nothing, but we try to keep the precept, and finally we can do it. So I think that by our intention and by our strong determination, we are stepping the way. We are stepping the foundation stone, so that our junior will follow the steps, and they can, at least we can revive the tradition from the time of the Buddha. Sometimes we can keep on the precepts, but at least the important precepts we can do it, and it can with this Vinaya practice and also the meditation practice, we will have our own strength, the spiritual strength. And then as my teacher, my Mahathero, my master, he told us that you don't need to go to persuade people to recognize you as Bhikkhunis. You persuade them by your own practice, by your own way of life, by your morality, by your contribution to the sasana. Then they can compare. They can compare which one is better, and then they will choose the good one. So we don't need to try to persuade. So that is why this is our way now. So we just try to practice ourselves. The seniors help the juniors, and also together we try to emphasize on 2 things. We can say 3 things. First is Vinaya practice, and then the Pariyatti, theory learning, and also meditation practice. So little by little, day by day, we are trying to improve ourselves and to lead our junior generation. So this is my opinion, Venerable.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Venerable Liufab Viditadhammā Therī, for sharing your thoughts about this. Likewise, I was thinking that one of the great strengths of the growth of our Bikunisanka in a grassroots way and its diversity is that I think all of the Bikunis that I know are very sincere, and they become Bikunis because of their deep love of the Dhamma and their inspiration in connection with the Buddha and their wish to fully practice this path for the Sila, Samadhi, and Panya aspects, and for the Sila to fully practice the Padimokkha Sila. So with our diversity and with the growth of the Bikunisanka, what I'm seeing is, as Venerable Liufab mentioned, then we visit one another, or we collaborate even in this kind of way, and we see different examples. And when we see something inspiring, whether from senior bhikkhunis or a community or even individual practitioner, then that inspiration then comes up in our heart, and it can show us how we can do even more excellently and beautifully and well due to the power of that inspiration. And I think this is part of the brilliance of the Buddha, even in the early Sangha, in commending his disciples for different, very different excellent qualities really recognizing the diversity of our minds, our hearts, our psychology, our needs, our stages of the path, and how important it is to have such a variety of characters and strengths and even different emphasis within the mainstream of the Dhamma, but still some different emphases in the way of practice, not one being better than another, but one being more suitable for one's liberation than for another. So this is something that I'm delighted to see really growing and strengthening, and how we're learning from one another and getting inspiration from one another. And in our collaboration, then we offer that to our students, our disciples, our peers who are the Bhikkhunis. I see this as being really for our growth and our strength during this time. I reflect even the story of Luang Por Cha or Ajahn Chah. Even he early on saw various examples in monastic life, and it was only when he saw the example of Luang Por Man, which was very different, that really galvanized his inspiration in a way, and he saw what was to then be his whole lifelong path that he's then shared with full sincerity. And that's the strength. When we do something with full inspiration and full sincerity, then that's also in a way like lit the lamp or passed on the lamp to so many people in a way that's so powerful. And that comes from just an encounter with one other member of the Sangha who was even not really mainstream at that time. And so I think this is so important and so powerful for us to have now, as we see like a diversity, growing number of Theris. And I find for myself also for the younger Bhikkhunis and those who even have ordained very recently, sometimes they are very inspiring to me. They say I'm inspiring to them, but they are inspiring to me because of their sincerity. And there's just something so strong. And when we really fully live our hearts and we're looking for what's noble and admirable, and then we're really taking that up, able to take that up, and with the dedication to live it fully and develop that fully. And so I absolutely commend all those who are doing this and want to encourage everyone to do so. And actually, I think it leads to one more question. But first, I want to share Venerable Liu Fab Viditadhammā from our Dhammadharini community here, one of our Dhammadharini Support Foundation longtime members and local member of our community here, Ananea Potter. You may have met her, I think, when you were here. Yes, and she attended your teaching, I think, on Vesak. She says, thank you for such a comprehensive update and for laying out so clearly the training and support needs of novices and aspirants. It's very inspiring to hear the journey to ordination of the Bhikkhunī Therīs and Mahātheris and how their work is bearing fruit and growing. Ananea, should we unmute you for just a moment if you'd like to say something in person? I know you don't have much time now. For those who are here, last year they didn't have Christmas and holidays because of pandemic, but this year many of them are vaccinated and they're having holidays at this time. Ananea, welcome to share a word or two, and then we'll come back to another one of the questions.
Yes, just real quickly. I was, as I said, at the Wesak Day, and was very impressed with the Dhamma talk that Venerable Viditadhammā gave that day. So I'm glad I had that opportunity. And also I wanted to say, it's really wonderful to see Ayya Adimuti, whom I have done quite a few long retreats at Forest Refuge in Barre, Massachusetts. And the last time that I saw her in person was in the summer, July, August of 2018. And she then went into intensive retreat in Burma. And so, and now she's able to start her Sangha in New Zealand. So it's really nice to see her on this Zoom call. So I just wanted to say thank you and wish you the best of luck with the new building and whatever in New Zealand. So thank you all. It was really just an honor to hear all of you.
Anumodhana, and I'd like to just very briefly let everyone in our community know we can share our blessings and many thanks to Ananea for her years of service and support and dedication, and just so much love and appreciation and gratitude for all your care and nurturance and practical support for the Sangha here, even to have a repaired roof over our heads here right now, and some warmth in these facilities that are supporting this right now. Really many thanks to Ananea for your many years of care and dedication and support, and happy Sanghamitta Day and happy holidays to you and to all of your loved ones. Thank you for your good words. So also now I just want to recognize that in Southeast Asia, it's coming very near to the monastic lunchtime, near to the time that must be lunchtime. And I know if Ayya Santinī is here with us, if we can spotlight her for just a moment. I know she needs to go for the lunch offering at her Kusalayani Vihara in Indonesia right now. So welcome to share some brief parting words, Ayya. And thank you so much for joining us. We're going to spotlight you for just a moment.
Oh, thank you, Most Venerable Ayya Tathālokā. Thank you, Most Venerable Liu Pap. We are happy to see you and all Bhikkunis here. Happy Sanghamitta Day. Thank you so much.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Ayya. And let's just take this opportunity for everyone who's here together to really share all of our blessings with Ayya Santinī, Venerable Santinī Therī, in all of her efforts with the United Theravada Bikunisanka International, and her special dedication to be working with Dhamma propagation or Dhamma sharing. So let's just all, from our hearts, just share all of our love and kindness and blessings to her in this great and noble endeavor that she's thinking of offering in a harmonious and united way for our entire Sangha.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sekarang kita
Thank you, Ayya. Please have a good lunch.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I hope to see you again soon.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayya. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
I also would like to take
Goodbye
permission
for now.
to leave the meeting so that we can have lunch like Venerable Santinī.
Oh.
In Vietnam too.
Venerable Viditadhammā, do you have 1 or 2 minutes more, or do you have to go very soon?
Yes? Certainly. It's okay.
I see.
Yes.
Because actually I feel kind of sorry, because I think Ayya Santinī could speak so well to the next, maybe it would be the last question. But I know she has so much experience with it, but I think Venerable Viditadhammā also has so much experience. And I don't know if our most venerable Seewalee Tero is still here with us. I think he could also speak to this. The question is, what are some of the challenges that our Bhikkhuni leaders are facing? I'm sure there are many. Perhaps share with us just a few that may be helpful for us to be aware of. What are some of the ways that the Bikunisanka and younger bhikkhus and bhikkhunis and aspirants can support our Bhikkhuni leaders and this great initiative?
Yes, Bhikkhunī Tathālokā.
Please,
Can you hear?
Please, Bhante, Sadhu. We can
Yes,
hear you.
thank you.
We can't see
Yes,
you, though.
You
Please speak
cannot.
and remove my
Okay, you
pin so
can
that
hear.
I can
Okay.
see that.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, maybe some technical problems, but I'm speaking to this subject. I think
yes.
what is the most important thing is Bhikkhuni. I think Bhikkhuni Mahatheri is like Bhikkhu Sangha, you know. I can say that what is happening in Bhikkhu Sangha also is not so so healthy, you know, for many years. So this should be learned as a good example for Bikunisanka too, because now it's a resurrection and just reviving Bikunisanka. So they must learn from so many mistakes from the Bhikkhu Sangha. So many things, you know, that has happened to the Bhikkhu Sangha as united and harmony. We are talking about harmony. So very difficult to find harmony about in the Bhikkhu Sangha also. Very difficult to find harmony. So Bhikkhuni, senior Bhikkhuni Therīs must have foremost wisdom first. Other than anything else, they, as a first factor, I think the wisdom is the foremost important thing in all. When Buddha says that sabbe sankhara anicchati, you know, yada panyaya passati, atanibindati dukkhe esamaggo visuddhiyaya. Yada panyaya passati. So the wisdom is the right now the most important factor both Bhikkhu Sangha and Bhikkhuni Sangha. When there is a proper wisdom to understand everything is just anitya, you know, anicca is continuous, so many problems can be solved. So there will not be so much of issues about Bhikkhu Sangha, Bhikkhuni Sangha, you know. So when we are having wisdom, and the similar way Buddha says, sabbe sankhara dukkhati, you know, yada panyaya passati, atanibinditi dukkhe esamaggo visuddhya. You know? So yada panyaya passati is all wisdom there also to realize the dukkha. So I think first factor is wisdom. So that is why panya, sila, samadhi. So when it is coming the prajna, the wisdom, the Mahatheris must obtain, develop their wisdom. Wisdom followed compassion. These both are very important. When there is a wisdom, then compassion comes out of compassion. We can have that heart to serve to the humanity. So when there is no wisdom, no unity can develop. When there is no unity, the service to the humanity for the welfare of the humanity is very difficult, as Buddha says in his first teaching to the 60 bhikkhus. You know, charata bhikkhave charikang bahujana hitaya bahujana sukha. This is the first thing to be understand why we are as senior bhikkhunis, what is our responsibility to the juniors. We have to be very example to all of the junior bhikkhunis, samaneris. You know, when you are now very few senior bhikkhunis, I think worldwide, the few now coordinators, and I think few somewhere in Australia or some other country. As a Bhikkhuni coordinators of International Bhikkhuni, this Theravada Bikunisanka have very great responsibility. The responsibility must be based on wisdom. The responsibility must be based on compassion. And the Vinaya, the practice of Sila, you know, these are traditionally, this is to be understood. This is well understood in a monastic discipline. There is no new thing in that. But this is already in is set and established. There is nothing to new in monastic tradition. This can be learned, but the wisdom is the very important thing. When we are lacking of wisdom, everything become messy, everything. So whether it is Bhikkhuni Sangha or Bhikkhu Sangha, and the many parts of Bhikkhu Sangha are now total mess, and is a complete monopoly, discrimination, is struggling for the powers, craze in the powers, and completely lack of wisdom. So I find that there is only ignorance continuous. There is stupidness continuous, and foolishness continuous. So many. So that won't bring any benefit to the humanity. It will continue tradition. It is okay. We keep our meetings, traditional practice, rituals, but there is the missing part. The first part is missing. So what is the first part? Compassion, metta, karuna, mudita, upekha, and wisdom. We are missing these great parts. So this is the essential parts in a Bhikkhu Sangha or Bhikkhuni Sangha. So there is no division as such. I'm not dividing these two groups, only for this some technical reasons, but otherwise there is nothing to discriminate. We are Mahasangha. We are Mahasangha. I believe that. We are only Mahasangha. So Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasak, Upasika. So that is why, in my opinion, the senior Bhikkhunis must learn a lot of things from the Bhikkhu Sangha, why they are in a messy, different. So you have now so much of great time to understand these mistakes in the past, not to be happen in the future, this mistake. And the mindfulness is very important, as we have discussed earlier. So mindfulness, and be a practical person, whatever historical mistakes we have to bring to the present, analyze it and move on. So this is what Buddha was, a practical person. As a Tathagata, Buddha was a very practical person all the time. So just learn from the past, living in the present, move to the future with wisdom, understanding more the need of the hour. This is the most important need of the hour, being united and serve to the humanity. So when we are being united, then we can serve to the united. When we are stupid, when we are unenlightened, unawakening, undeveloped mind, we cannot serve to the others. When we have developed mind, when we have wisdom, we can easily apply our compassion, apply our metta to each and everywhere. And we have great patience, Kanti Parami. It's a great practical incidents are there, examples are there. So I would request to our Bhikkhuni Therīs and others, you in the three sections, Sila, Samadhi, Prajna. I think Therīs, they have different qualities, each have different skills. So understand your skill, whether you are more wise or how to cultivate this to your juniors. May you are more close to the Samadhi. Some can have easy Samadhi, Some can have easy, the Vinaya, they can be an expert. So you understand your own skills with more confidence. Then we can, later on, we can discuss in our next meetings. So how we appoint, this is your theory for Sila. There was in Buddha's time also, the separate theories for Vinaya and theories for Prajna, the different. So we can identify them, but with their own confession, with their own confidence. So I think this is something we have to discuss again in our next meetings. I'm happy to share this with you. So Bhikkhuni, thank you very much. So for your attention. Thank you.
Sadhu, 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 anumodama. With much appreciation to our Bhante, Venerable B. Seewalee Nāyaka, our Dhammadharini community would now like to offer a short chant all together here. I'm going to invite some of the community members to gather together. This chant is dedicated to you, Bhante, and to all of our UT-BSI coordinators, to our whole Bikunisanka around the world, to all aspirants, to the whole fourfold and manifold community of the Buddha. Sukho Buddhana Upadho Sukha Saddhamma Desanam Sukho Sangha Samaki Samakanang Tapo Sukho. Happy is the arising of the Buddha. Happy is the teaching of the true Dhamma. Happy is the Sangha in harmony. The harmonious ones striving is happy. Sad, sad, sad.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
We'd now like to invite Ayya Brahmawada to offer a vote of thanks.
Turn your sound off, please.
And now, welcome to Ajahn Brahmawada to offer a vote of thanks.
Thank you. I'm very honored to have this opportunity to offer thanks on behalf of Ayya Tathālokā to all our venerable speakers. Most Venerable P. Seewalee Tero, thank you so much for your empathy and for the support and encouragement that you offer to your Bhikkhuni sisters. So invaluable. And we really hear your call for support for the Bhikkhunis in India. Also, your encouragement to live in harmony, samagi, was very valuable, very helpful for us to hear. Thank you so much. Even in her absence, I'd like to thank Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Mahātherī for her wonderful and inspirational talk on history of the Bikunisanka, and also her acknowledgement of Ayya Sanghamitta Bhikkuni's crucial role in supporting Bhikkhunis, as well as her wise advice for us in how we need to work together as Kalyanamitta, as spiritual friends. Thank you so much, Venerable Bhikkhuni Santinī Mahātherī. And also like to thank Venerable Viditadhammā Mahātherī for your inspirational words about the United Theravada Bikunisanga International and the spirit of solidarity that you conveyed and the sense of family that we share as Bhikkunis all around the world at this present time. Also, I recall your also echoing Bhante Seewalee Tero's invitation for us to offer support and encouragement to our Bhikkhuni sisters in India. Thank you so much, Venerable Viditadhammā. I also want to just conclude with thanks for the very helpful responses to the questions that were asked. To Venerable Yupa Viditadhammā for emphasizing the importance of Vinaya for the training of bhikkhunis and how this is our strength and our support in the holy life. For such a valuable and helpful teaching. And also to Bhante Seewalee Thero for your emphasis on the importance of developing wisdom for our senior bhikkhunis, and I'm sure for all of us, and how compassion quite naturally will follow if we focus our energy on developing wisdom, and how this helps us more than anything else in leadership and supporting the ongoing flourishing of the revived Bikunisanka. So thank you so much, all our venerable teachers. And last but not least, of course, great thanks to Ayya Tathālokā Mahātherī for organizing this meeting and also for her great contributions. Thank you.
Sadhu,
sadhu, sadhu.
So we're coming near to the end of our program now, and I'd like to, just a moment. I'd like to adjust my settings to be more proper. So I'd also like to share thanks with, I think really about the Buddha at the top of my head, most bright luminary and shining example and inspiration for all of us. And then all of the Arahant Sangha, Mahatheras and Mahatheris, the fathers and mothers of the Sangha, and all those who've really made the effort in really fully walking and living the path and realizing its fruits and passing it down to us over these last several thousands of years, 2,600 years or more. And even all those who've made the effort to memorize such enormous portions or even a small portion of the teachings and pass it down. And those who even gave their lives traveling over the high mountain gorges of the Silk Road, and those who traveled in the sea voyages, and what upset stomachs, that they gave to us. Some of them even eaten by sharks and other sea animals, and then those who made it through to spread the Dhamma around internationally over the years, that it is alive, has been passed down alive and well to us, to this time. And so I want to remember also all of our preceptors, our upajayas, our bhikkhu and bhikkhuni preceptors, and our teachers, our mentors, our exemplars, our Dhamma friends, those who have supported the physical requisites in so many ways, those who have offered our alms food, our robes, our lodgings, our medicines, everything, including tech support here and now, and all of the members of our Sangha who have supported the organization of this program today, offering the morning program focused on the really the appearance, the gelling in a way, the spread of the Bikunisanka now in Europe, with the German Bikunisanka having now appeared in the world, and UK Bikunisanka in diaspora also now appeared in the world. Ayya Brahmawara is also from UK. And those who in our second program then also read, recited, contemplated, and discussed the teachings of the Satya Samyutta taught by the Arahant Mahinda Thero to Anula Devi and her great company, through which they realized stream entry and stream winning, and then really set their hearts upon the path, becoming the first Arahants of Sri Lanka. And the enormous strength and power of that has really, like an underground stream tapped into once again, is now opening up and becoming a great Dhamma fountain of bliss and inspiration and support for us as the Theravada Bikunisanka reappears in the world. May our world not be short of arahants. May we apply ourselves well with this patimokkha sila that we've inherited, and with this adi sila, then also the adicitta, the higher mind, the depths of our meditation practice, clearing and purifying and stabilizing our minds and our view, such that we may experience penetrative insight, realizations, and penetrate into the Dhamma, see and know and taste the depths of the Dhamma and the path for ourselves, with this adipanya, as our most venerable Seewalee Tero was exhorting us to. And this adipanya truly be the great blessing in our association with one another, and really with everyone and all the conditions in our world, that those become enlightening, and awakened and awakening conditions. So I'd just like to offer my anumodhana, sadhu, 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 to all these fortunate conditions. And I wish that all of our benefactors, both spiritual and material benefactors, may share in these blessings together. Likewise, all our guardian devas and those who are guardians of the Dhamma, may they share in these blessings together. And may the Buddha's right, true, effective sasana last long in our world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Can we switch to group again? Group mic. We're going to chant Imina Punya Kamena, and then Arahant together, paying our homage and offering our highest veneration to the Noble Triple Gem. If you know this chant with your mic off, you're welcome to join in it together. And I invite all of our community members here now to join in this chant, dedication of blessings together. Andamayang uti sanaditana katayo panamase. Imina punya kamena upajaya konotaram. Acharyo pakara chamata pita chanyatakam suryo chanti maraja konawanta narapicha Brahma Maharaja Inda Chaloka Pala Chadevatam Yamo Mita Manusa Chamachata Verika Picha Sape Sata Sukhi Honto Punya Vipakata Imem Sukhan Chati Vedam Dentum Kipam Pape Tavo Matam Imina Punya Kamena imina uthisena cha kipahang sulabhechewa tan upadana chetanang yesantane hinathamma yavanipanato mamang nasantu sapratayewa yatajato pawe Bodhicittang satipanya salekho viriyaminam mara laphantuno kasang katun cawiriye sume Buddha dipawaro nato Dhammo nato varu Dhammo nato paceka buddhocha Sangho nato taro mamang Teso tamanu bhavenam Mairo kasam labhantumam arahang samma sambuddho bhagavan buddhang bhagavantang abhivadimi buddhominato Sawakato Bhagavata Dhammam Dhamma Namasami Dhammomenato Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangha Namami Sanghominato. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. This concludes our program. Thank you very much to everyone who's joined us. Foremost, Nāyaka Tero Venerable P. Seewalee Bhante from the Mahabodhi Society of India, and all our Venerable Bhikkhuni Therīs of the United Theravada Bikunisanka International. Even, I hope you're not too late for lunchtime, or that your great sacrifice is just increasing your parami for greater blessings for you and for all of us. Thank you very much, Venerable Viditadhammā Therī, and then also to our Bhikkhunis who've joined us from around the world. Venerable Adimuti Bhikkhuni in New Zealand at the newly inaugurated Sanghamitta Day inaugurated first Theravada Bhikkhuni residence in New Zealand. Adimuti, can you tell us the name of the area in Maori language?
Kirikiriroa.
Kirikiriroa, New Zealand, Bhikkhuni Hermitage.
Well,
Yes.
we haven't got a name, but I'm calling it a hermitage.
Okay, all right. And Venerable Anuvedita Bhikkhuni, who has stayed up seems like all day and all night in the Bavarian Alps at Anensha Vihara in Germany, joining us. So glad to have you together with us, even for long programming like the old days. Really wonderful to have you with us, and to have Aya Palignani with us earlier on for our program also. And Venerable Analaya, where are you coming to us from? Where are you?
I'm actually in quarantine.
You're in quarantine.
I'm back in WA at the moment.
Oh, I see. WA is Western Australia. Here, WA is Washington State. You're in Western Australia in quarantine. Okay. So very glad to have you with us. I'm so happy to see your smiling face, and wonderful that you could join together with us. There are some benefits of quarantine. Right. You are finding the benefits of quarantine well. This is truly the skill in life. Then also I see that our Dhammadharini international liaison and ambassador for Bhikkhunis, Upasamaya Shirley Guak, is with us. I'm thinking she's wanting to be hiding out this evening though. So I just want to recognize that she's here and share lots of appreciation with her. And several of our regular participants are here also. I'm glad to see them. And I know you had many more questions, and some of the questions that were raised are very important, and I hope we will have time and opportunities to discuss them further. And in terms of deepening our practice, I'll just say, this evening, I think that this is our last major program of the year for us here, and then we're going to be entering into winter retreat. So it is wonderful that our Dhammadharini community hopefully has enough support to be able to have 3 months of winter retreat time in January, February, and March to really work on deepening our understanding of and insight into the Buddha's teachings and putting them into practice in our sila, and really working with deepening our samadhi practice and our panya, as so highly recommended. So we're going to be working with the 33 Nibbana sermons of the late Most Venerable Katukurunde Nyanananda Mahāthero of Sri Lanka, of Mitrikale Nisaranoanaya formerly. Another of our Kalyanamitas and really brave, great exemplars. So everyone who would like to join us in making a practice commitment for the 3 months of the winter retreat in January, February, and March is warmly welcome to do so. If you'd like to, you can let us know about your practice commitment, and we will hang it on our dedication tree so that everyone coming into our meditation hall in the monastery will be able to see that and think about just holding our hearts of dedication in this path of practice together during this time. We'll also be offering every 2 weeks on the new moon and full moon Uposatha. Those are the only programs that will be offered by our Bhikkhuni teachers, just once every 2 weeks, the Uposatha program during the winter retreat. And during that time, our other programs, sutta study, meditation programs will be peer-led by our good friend Diane Sherman, who also has been encouraged by her teachers to share in Dhamma with the community. And so much appreciation to her. I know she was with us earlier for offering the peer-led Dhamma programs during our winter retreat time. And I just want to share blessings with everyone in their learning and contemplation of the Buddha's teaching, and formally and in all kinds of circumstances, and in our deep work with our purification of mind and sila, in mind, in speech, in practice, and with our mindfulness and our samadhi, our meditation practice. May these really be wisely and well attended to by us during this time, and may we grow in all of these excellent qualities of Adi Sila, Adi Citta, the higher sila, higher mind, and Adi Panya, the higher wisdom, together during this time, making the best use of the raw materials that we have in this life, together with the Dhamma. When mixed with the Dhamma, what emerges from these raw materials is excellent. So triple gem blessings to everyone during this time. Thank you very much for joining us. Anumodana for all of your support and for your practice.
Sadhu.